What's up, YouTube? This is Morgan, also known as Jew, and I know this video is a little bit late. I got off of work late last night, and I did get to watch most of the game. There were bits of the first half that I missed, but this is going to be the recap of the Georgia Tech game versus who was it? Virginia last night. So without further ado, let's get into it. So last night was probably one of the worst offensive performances of the season for Tech, which is very shocking to say because of games we've had, such as the Ole Miss game or the UCF game. But also part of that was to Jeff Sims being out and having a relatively, I wouldn't say inexperienced because he is a transfer, but inexperienced at Georgia Tech quarterback for an offense that's very much designed around Jeff Sims and his strengths of being able to move outside the pocket and honestly, his throwing ability becoming much more competent. I wouldn't say great, competent. The interception wasn't his fault. It was a great play by the DB just to tip up in the air. He put it in a great spot for Malachi Carter, I think, to make a play, and it just didn't go that way. Didn't go that way. But defense played, honestly, a very phenomenal game. But this is a very good example of bend, don't break not working. They did a lot of bend, don't break and caught some lucky breaks, honestly, with the two missed field goals, of course. But the offense mustered up 3 points because the defense got 6 points. The offense mustered up three. And yes, having basically the offense sputtering was pretty much not having Jeff Sims in the game for a majority of the game. He didn't look fantastic when he played, but it also moved a lot better. Obviously, we got the field goal with him. We got into much better field position with him at quarterback. And I feel like that we could have mustered up at least another touchdown or so in that game. Brennan Armstrong beat us by himself pretty much. They found out where the weaknesses, roll him to his strong side, which is the weak side of Tech's defense, I guess, and let him make a play. And he made plays. He had, I believe, 91 yards rushing and 255 yards passing. And they, as a team, they had a season high in yards. I think, maybe close to it. They murdered us on yardage totals. But with all their yardage totals, they mustered up 16 points. That's a very good credit to Tech's defense. It's just let them feel like they're comfortable. Obviously, that's not what you want, and you want to see 3 and outs consistently. But defense is stopping points. It's very good to say. This is a very frustrating game from Tech fans, and I think it's a good wake up call that just because we have Brent Key doesn't mean we could just walk into any game and win any game that we want. This is a very winnable game for sure. But I feel like that also shows that the offense needs more work, and the offense was always the problem with this team as of recently. Now we're not in a great position to make a bowl game. We still have a very winnable games against Virginia Tech and a possibility against Miami if this offense can get figured out and Jeff Sims obviously can get very healthy. I believe if we have Zach Gibson at quarterback, just off of the first look of this game, I don't think that we make a bowl game. The offense didn't muster up anything. And obviously, a bit of that's comfortability. Excuse me, sorry. I worked late last night. So, yeah. But it's also a lot of comfortability in the offense. I don't think Zach Gibson has full a range of plays. He couldn't get it out quick enough to his playmakers. He didn't figure that out at least until about the fourth quarter. And even that, the final drive caught some breaks. I think up until that final drive, they showed a stat of it being the Tech had -2 yards in the entire second half, and that's just the story of the game. Was the offense couldn't move, therefore causing the defense to not do anything. Jeff Sims. Oh, I apologize for the beginning. Jeff Sims did not lead the drive to the field goal. That was Zach Gibson. That was his one good drive of the game, honestly. And in the end of the game, it's like, I understand why he ran out of bounds, but it's also like, just go up and make a play. Nobody cares. If it happens, it happens. Like, it's a miracle. That's why you at least try it. Honestly, I'd put nothing on this game more than just the offense. Coaching was, especially the defensive coaching, was phenomenal, and I think a very big difference with Brent Key is letting his coordinators be coordinators. And yes, that can be an issue sometimes with Chip Long not finding plays that worked, and just he kept running the ball, which seemed very odd, especially because the run game didn't muster up anything. So we'd run it for the first 2 plays, and on 3rd and long, try to throw something, which isn't a great recipe for success, especially if you're not running the ball well. You need to pass the ball a little bit more. Give your guy trust in him rather than just trying to see something and make something happen. This game was very frustrating to watch from an offensive standpoint. Defensive standpoint, you watch, and the size advantage of the corners versus their receivers was the main issue. But the guys made plays when plays needed to be made. I remember specifically Charlie Thomas shooting a gap on a huge 3rd down, which led to Tech being able to have a final drive. It's a great shot in the gap, honestly. Plays were made on the defensive end. Corners played fantastic all game. Yes, there were some mismatches, but there wasn't a whole lot of miscommunication leading to issues. It was just size advantage that killed us. Our corners were much smaller than their 6'5" receivers. Forced up, I believe, 3 turnovers. They got the fumble and 2 interceptions, which has been a strength of the defense in turnover differential. I believe that we are now, we're near the top of the conference in turnover differential. I know that, and having +2 helps that. But when the offense can't muster up anything, it's an issue. If Malachi Carter looked good in his first game back, if he had the ball more, in the final drive when they gave it to him a few times, he made plays. Nate McCullum, when he got the ball, they made plays. They didn't let the stars be stars again. They couldn't let them go out and make their plays because they weren't getting the ball. That's the big issue. I believe with Jeff Sims back next week against, I believe, Virginia Tech. I believe that's who we play next week. Very winnable game, but we can't just waltz in. It's like, oh, we have Brent Key. We're entirely fixed. We are not entirely fixed. There's a lot to work on, obviously, and now we just got to put our head down and get back to work. We're off the emotional high of the 2 wins, so now we're really going to see what this Brent Key football team can do, and this is the best evaluation of Brent Key as a coach upcoming. The first 2 games were emotional, of course. Now it's back down to earth. The crowd looked fantastic for at least from the lower bowl. That lower bowl looked very packed from the TV screen. I can't say from what I saw because I wasn't there. The upper bowl, from the pictures that I saw, is a little not packed. But the fact that we're getting the lower bowl packed is a good sign, especially Thursday night game, all this hype. The crowd is finally starting to come back at Bobby Dodd, which we love to see. But yeah, that's really my thoughts on this game. It was a very bad game. Zach Gibson had a 7.6 QBR, 99 yards. Sims didn't have a great QBR either, but he also didn't get to play a lot to try to make up for it. Hassan Hall, 12 carries for 47 yards. It's not going to get the job done. Nate McCullum, 5 receptions, 62 yards. Malachi Carter, 4 for 43. Hassan Hall, 4 for 37. And that's literally it. Dylan Leonard had 1 for 0. And Rutherford had 2 for 4. That's it. Yeah. And even when the offense made mistakes, the defense made up for it. Like when we turned it over within the 5-yard line, we didn't even muster up a touchdown. It was just a field goal, which huge win. The defense is playing fantastic. That's the story of how this team is right now. I know this video is there's no true conception. These are just my thoughts ranting out onto a page, because this game was just atrocious to watch as a fan. It very, very frustrating. There was a lot of what the fuck are you doing moments. But yeah, those are my thoughts. If you subscribe, I don't even know where this is going. If you like the video, subscribe. If I'm going to be doing these every week after every game at least. I'll probably be coming out with some more sports content throughout the week, especially with NBA season starting and NFL coming up this week. Expect more content on the page. Subscribe if any sports content in general interests you. I'm doing NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball. Once it starts up, I'm going to be doing a preview of Tech basketball. I'm going to be out. Peace.